Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about pancreas, which is a very important organ regarding practice. Diabetes is a global disorder alarmingly increasing. So let us start pancreas. In the beginning, pancreas was named as whole mass. The nomenclature was whole mass. So let us see the PowerPoint presentation. So pancreas can be defined as it is a soft compound racemose transversely situated retroperitoneal gland having endocrine and exocrine function. So having endocrine and exocrine both function. Exocrine function is secreting pancreatic juice and endocrine function is secreting insulin, glucagon like hormones. So it is a mixed gland. Extent from the concavity of the duodenum to the hilum of spleen, which crosses transversely with slightly upward to the left through the posterior abdominal wall. Consistency is soft parenchymatous, color grayish pink, but as you can see in this diagram, in cadaver, grayish pink in living individual, but in cadaver it becomes yellowish gray. Shape is retort flux shape, as you can see in the diagram, retort flux shaped. Measurement, length is 12 to 15 centimeters, breadth is 3 to 4 centimeters, thickness is 1.5 to 2 centimeters, weight, average weight is 85 grams, situation, epigastric and left hypochondriac region. It has got four parts: head, neck, body and tail. Head. It is a right enlarged portion of the pancreas lodged in the duodenal curve, that is concavity of the duodenum. Situation, it is situated in the curvature of first, second and third part of duodenum. Vertebral level L1 to L2 vertebrae, that is lumbar 1 to lumbar 2 vertebrae. Now coming to the features of the head, borders, it has got three borders: superior or upper border, it is related to first part of duodenum; inferior or lower border, it is related to uncinate process, third part of the duodenum; and third one is the right border. The right border is related to second part of duodenum, and anastomosis between superior and inferior pancreaticoduodenal vessels, means pancreaticoduodenal artery and pancreaticoduodenal veins. Surfaces, it consists of two surfaces, anterior surface and posterior surface. So first of all, anterior surface, direction of the anterior surface is forward, upward and to the left. Continuation is with the neck. Relation of the anterior surface is anteriorly present a groove for gastroduodenal artery. Then there is transverse colon, loose connective tissues, coils of jejunum, and the peritoneal relations are upper part of the non-peritoneal, upper part of this head is non-peritoneal up to transverse colon, and below that is peritoneal. Only anterior surface is peritoneal, but posterior surface is totally non-peritoneal. Now coming to posterior surface. Posterior surface, you can tally the figure in Human Anatomy for Students book. Inferior, so relations are inferior vena cava, terminal part of the renal veins, right crus of the diaphragm, bile duct, it may be embedded into the pancreatic substance. Uncinate process, the head consists of a process named as uncinate process, projects from the lower part of the head directed upward and medially. Only the head part has process, other parts of the pancreas don't have any process. The name of the process is uncinate process. And relation of the uncinate process: anteriorly superior mesenteric vessels, that is artery and vein, artery on the left and vein on the right, and posteriorly abdominal aorta. Peritoneal relation of the head: it is totally non-peritoneal, as we know that pancreas is retroperitoneal, so obviously posterior surfaces are non-peritoneal. Neck: it is a very narrow constriction between head and body. Length is 2 cm only. Direction: it is directed forward, upward and to the left. As per the total direction of the pancreas, neck is also directed towards this, and it meets with the body. Borders of the necks are superior border, inferior border. Relations of superior border is first part of duodenum and celiac plexus, and inferior border's relation is attachment of the root of the transverse mesocolon. Transverse mesocolon is a double fold of peritoneum which holds transverse colon, so that is related near inferior border. Now surfaces: it consists of two surfaces, anterior surface and posterior surface. Anterior surface is related to peritoneum, divisions of gastroduodenal artery, pylorus of stomach, and posterior surface is related to superior mesenteric vein, superior mesenteric artery occasionally, and beginning of the portal vein. So coming to the body is the elongated and largest part of the pancreas. It extends from the front of aorta to the front of the left kidney. This passes towards the left with slight upward and backward inclination. Shape: it is prism shape. Borders: superior border. It is related to celiac artery, splenic artery, common hepatic artery. At the right end of this border, there is a tuberosity called tuber omentale. The inferior border: it separates the posterior surface from the inferior surface. The superior mesenteric vessel emerges through its right extremity. Then anterior border: it is the differentiating border between the anterior and inferior surface. It provides attachment of the two layers of transverse mesocolon. Surfaces are anterior surface. Direction of the anterior surface is anterosuperiorly. Relation is peritoneum. Posterior inferior surface of the stomach separated by omental bursa. Posterior surface relation is, it is non-peritoneal. As I have already told you that pancreas is retroperitoneal. So here you can see the relations of anterior and posterior aspect of the body. Now surfaces: posterior surface relation, peritoneal relation is non-peritoneal. Other relations: abdominal aorta, superior mesenteric artery, left crus of the diaphragm, left suprarenal gland, left kidney. It is separated by perirenal fossa and fat, left renal vessels, splenic vein. Inferior surface: the inferior surface relations are peritoneum, duodenojejunal flexure, coils of jejunum, left colic flexure. Left colic flexure actually related at the left end. Now coming to the tail. Actually there is no fixed demarcation between body and tail. Tail is just continuation of the body. It is narrow left end of the pancreas. It passes between the layers of lineorenal ligament and extends up to the hilum of the spleen. It is the most mobile part of the gland. So situation of the tail: it is situated between the two layers of lineorenal ligament. Lineorenal ligament is a ligament that is a peritoneal fold from spleen to kidney. So within those two folds it is situated, along with the splenic vessels to reaches the spleen. Relation: anteriorly, the tail is related to peritoneum of the lesser sac. separated from the stomach, and posteriorly it is related to spleen, splenic vessels, and inferiorly left colic flexure. Internal structure. This is a schematic diagram of internal structure. We will see further more detailed internal structure. Here you can see bile duct, minor duodenal papilla, then accessory pancreatic duct. This one is accessory pancreatic duct, major duodenal papilla which you have seen in duodenum, then tail of pancreas. This point is main pancreatic duct. This one is the main pancreatic duct. Ducts of the pancreas. The main pancreatic duct is the central duct, that is called as main pancreatic duct. Beginning, it commences from the tail of the pancreas by the union of numerous smaller ducts. As you can see, it starts from the tail and receives many tiny ducts which are open at right angle with the regular resembling herringbone pattern, and at the posteromedial wall of the second part of the duodenum, where it unites with the bile duct from the ampulla of Vater 10 cm distal to the pyloric end of the stomach. So if we want to find out during dissection, we can find out from pyloric end of the stomach. We have to measure 10 cm and we'll get closer to this ampulla of Vater where it drains into duodenum. Here you can see this median duct is draining into the duodenum. It is actually, here there is second part of duodenum and it will be first part of duodenum, and somewhere here there is pyloric end of the stomach. So from that point it is 10 cm away. Now accessory pancreatic duct, it receives the secretions from uncinate process and lower part of the head. It ends by piercing the medial wall of the second part of the duodenum at the summit of minor duodenal papilla, 2 cm proximal from the ampulla of Vater. So here you can see another detailed diagram of internal structures of the pancreas, but it is somewhat time consuming for drawing. Here you can see that it is draining into the second part of the duodenum, and a small part has been projected as the histology structure. So coming to the histology, in a TS you can see serous acini. These are serous acini. You can see pancreatic islets. Here you can see pancreatic islets. According to scientist Langerhans, it is called as islets of Langerhans. Then interlobular ducts, you can see tiny ducts. These are interlobular duct, and there is a you can see larger duct, that is interlobular duct. So that is the histology of pancreas. Serous acini, the exocrine pancreatic acinus is composed of serous acinar cells arranged around the lumen of alveolus. The alveolus is connected with the interlobular duct through the intercalated ducts. The interlobular ducts, these ducts are formed by the union of intercalated ducts from the different alveoli. These are situated between the alveoli. Interlobular duct, these ducts are formed by the union of intralobular duct. And intralobular ducts finally drain into the duodenum through main pancreatic duct and accessory pancreatic duct. Islets of Langerhans. It's a very important part regarding endocrine secretion. The islets of Langerhans belongs to endocrine part of the pancreas. The islets of Langerhans are more numerous in the tail of the pancreas. They appear as rounded clusters of cells. Each islet is separated from the adjacent pancreatic alveoli by thin layers of reticular fiber. Human pancreas contains more than 1 million islets. There are main 3 types of islet cells can be distinguished. The alpha cell or type A cell, these cells contribute to 20% of the islet cells and they secrete glucagon. The beta cells or B cells, these cells contribute to 70% of the islet cells and secretes insulin. And the delta cell or D cell, these cells probably secrete gastrin and somatostatin. Here you can see the arterial supply. It is supplied by gastroduodenal artery in head, and the head is also supplied by superior and inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery. The body is, here you can see, supplied by branches of splenic artery, arteria pancreatica magna and other pancreatic branches, and the tail part is supplied by arteria chordae pancreatitis, which is again a branch of splenic artery. So here you can see the head neck is supplied by superior and inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery. Body is supplied by arteria pancreatica magna, and tail is branch of splenic artery, that is arteria pancreatica chordae. The venous drainage corresponding to the arteries means veins of the same name of the artery responsible for drainage. Coming to lymphatic drainage into the pancreatosplenic lymph nodes and efferent vessels drains into celiac lymph nodes. Nerve supply. Sympathetic nerve supply is coming from the celiac and superior mesenteric plexus, and the parasympathetic supply is coming from right and left vagus nerve. Development, it arises from the caudal end of the foregut by two sources. Dorsal diverticulum, it arises from the dorsal valve of the perineal duodenum, cephalic to the hepatic bud. From dorsal diverticulum develops tail, body and upper part of the head. The ventral diverticulum, it develops from the stalk of hepatic diverticulum. From ventral diverticulum develops rest of the part of the head of the uncinate process. More detail we can see in embryology part. Now coming to the functional irregularity, the pancreas is more known for functional disorder, that is diabetes. In healthy individual you can see there is insulin receptors are taking insulin and acting properly, but in type 1 diabetes mellitus, the insulin, there is failure of pancreas to produce insulin. But in case of type 2 diabetes mellitus, the insulin is get occupied by some autoimmune antibody like structures, and hence insulin receptor cannot be attached with the insulin, and the glucose is not metabolized through insulin. Now other applied anatomies are cyst of pancreas. Cyst may develop in a pancreas which may press upon the duodenum and bile duct. Cancer in the head of the pancreas, it may press on bile duct producing obstructive jaundice, portal vein producing ascites, and piles on the pylorus of the stomach producing pyloric obstruction. Then occasionally there is an annulus formation, something like a ring around the duodenum. It is mainly due to cancer. The obstruction shortly after birth, later obstruction may develop from inflammatory or malignant disease developed in an annulus pancreas. As pancreas situated behind the stomach and transverse colon, therefore diseases of pancreas can confused with that of the stomach and transverse colon. Pain may be misinterpreted, and one may think it is a pain of stomach or transverse colon. Pain from pancreas commonly referred to the back. Inflammation of the pancreas may involve in peritoneum, so it may cause peritonitis, ascites like problems. Trauma in pancreas. Trauma in pancreas may be by sudden blow to the abdomen, etc. Can be compressed and tear the pancreas against the vertebral column. There may be damage of pancreatic tail during splenectomy, as it is the tail of pancreas is attached to spleen, so during splenectomy the tail may get damaged. Pancreatitis is a very common but grievous complaint. Duct is blocked. Pancreas may be inflamed. There may be their inflammatory condition is called as pancreatitis. Pancreatic duct may block due to following causes: reflux of bile from the ampulla of Vater, swelling of the head of the pancreas due to inflammation, spasm of the sphincters of Oddi. So these are the causes. Then accessory pancreatic tissue. Pancreatic tissue may develop in the stomach, duodenum and ileum or mucus diverticulum, the most common site of the stomach and duodenum. The accessory pancreatic tissue may protrude into the lumen of the gut and may be responsible for intussusception. The accessory pancreatic tissue may contain islets of Langerhans cells that produces insulin and glucagon. Blockage of ampulla of Vater, that is also another applied. A gallstone while passing through the bile duct may impact it in the constricted distal end of the ampulla of Vater, where it opens at the summit of the major duodenal papilla. As a result, the pancreatic and bile ducts blocked to the pancreatic juice and bile cannot enter in the duodenum. It may cause bile backup and enters the pancreatic duct. So these are the applied. Next, last but not the least, in some cases of chronic pancreatitis, most of the pancreas is removed, that is pancreatectomy. But arrangement of the blood supply between the head of the pancreas, bile duct and duodenum in such a pattern that it is impossible to remove whole of the head of the pancreas. Therefore, a rim of head of the pancreas is retained to especially for blood supply. Medial border of the second part of the duodenum to maintain the duodenal blood supply. As we know that it is commonly supplied by pancreaticoduodenal artery, that is superior pancreaticoduodenal and inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery. So that's why you cannot remove those arteries. It will hamper the blood supply to the duodenum. So that's all. Here you can see pancreas have been removed from a dissected body. So stay tuned, keep in touch.